Welcome back, everybody, to the Reality Miniverse podcast. I've got another interview for you guys, and I'm super excited about this one. But before we get to that, I just want to remind you guys, we're still in the early stages of this podcast, and things like subscribing and liking, they really go a long way, especially on YouTube and Spotify and Apple. If you're on any of those platforms and you want to show some love, that's a great way to do it. I would really appreciate it. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest here. And this is a guy who I got to know over the last year. I don't think it's any secret that I wanted to be on Squid Games The Challenge. I've talked about that on the podcast before. And there was a guy that I met at a reality TV event. When I saw him, I was like, I've got to talk to this guy because I know that he has the brain for this. Watching him on season 2 of Squid Games The Challenge was awesome because I feel like he had a really good eye for telling stories. And I feel like he was able to craft his own story really well. And that was something I really wanted to harness from this guy. But he's got a lot of accolades. He has his master's in game design. He wrote his thesis on reality competition game design. He's the star of Squid Games The Challenge Season 2. And he was nominated for Best LRG Villain alongside me. I don't even know if he knows that, but it's Eric Eldredge. I'm going to bring him on now. How's it going, man?
Oh my God, there's so much wrong with everything you just said, but that was a very flattering introduction. I appreciate it. But O'Rear, the way you should be looking at it is, wow, this guy did the smartest, funniest thing anyone's ever done on Squid Game, and he still was a minor character. His confessionals must have sucked ass. That's how I choose to think about my experience. Anyway. Thanks for having me.
We can agree to disagree on that one because I feel like you shine. There's a big field of people, and I think that was the big thing coming into a game like that, like getting my mind right for it was like, how do I stand out? How do I tell my story? How do I capture the eyes of these producers? So let's start there.
We think about it the same way.
Their eyes? Did they guide you, or were you guiding them?
No, I was guiding them, if anything. So I think about these things the same way as you, it sounds like, where I can't believe I'm cast on a show. I never thought this would happen. And I'm very much there to play the game and to stand out and be entertaining because I want to watch myself back. And the Squid Game, there's 456 players. And, we're all narcissistic losers. So we all want that spotlight, and it can only go to so many of us. By the way, how funny is it talking about Squid Game like 6 months later plus? Not the hottest show on television right now. I'm very excited to get into game design in general, but I actually had this idea for the fake baby lie. I knew I was going to do it. I was like, this is by far my best shot at like making a mark. And I've always thought this is a great strategy too. Like it certainly would have helped me if I had made it further in the game. But I wrote up this whole dossier. I had this whole like list of facts to help me remember and study in like the 3 days before the game. So I gave it to a production assistant. I said, hey, just so you know, I'm going to be lying about this. And do you want the sheet? She said, oh yeah, sure. Pretty sure she threw it in the trash because no one talked to me about it until I brought it up again like 3 days into the game. I was like, hey guys, just so you know, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do this whole speech. I have this idea. It's going to work. Trust me. And then and only then did they really start talking to me about it. So I feel like if you're on Squid Game, if anything, I would say, go even harder than I did and really just force yourself into the narrative one way or another. If you're like me and you're like the 450th person on their list of people to interview going into the game.
Right. Okay, so let me ask you this, because Squid Games: The Challenge, relatively new in the grand scheme of things of reality TV. Right, like it feels like really new school stuff. And I know you grew up in like an older school of reality television, so I want to know what were like some of your early influences. Like, what was the thing that made you fall in love with reality television and make you want to play games?
Oh, it's a fun question. I first started watching Survivor China because I was very into poker at the time. I was playing illegally on accounts that was not mine because I was like 15, and I caught wind of this fact that Jean-Robert Ballard was on Survivor, and I was like, all right, I'm going to check this out. Let's see what this guy's doing. He did not exactly crush it. He started this chain of poker players being terrible on Survivor for the most part. I should have written my separate thesis. If I had a second thesis, it would be why you want to be like decent at poker, but not too good at poker if you're going on a show. I fell in love with the strategy.
Big Brother, right? A Big Brother. I think the players on there kind of kill it.
They're way better. I don't know what it is about Survivor. There's like resting poker player face, and they all get voted out so early. Jean Robert actually one of the best performing ones, but I digress. I fell in love with a combination of games and storytelling. You know, like I remember there's this video on YouTube. It is so like obscure and niche, but it was the winner and runner up for each season for the first 13 seasons, set to like some music from a movie. And for some reason, this really resonated with me. I was like, oh, I gotta learn these stories of these people. How did they get to the end? Who are they? And from then on, I was hooked. I was in it. What about you? When's your start?
My earliest memory as a human was crying when Colby Donaldson lost season 2 Australian Outback. So,
Whoa, way
that was
back.
me, Colby. Yeah, exactly.
How
I was
old are
probably
you?
6. I'm 31 now. I was 6
Okay.
then.
Wow, that's
So
early.
yeah, it's been a like literally a lifelong thing for me. So
You know what's weird? I have like this memory too of watching the night challenge in Australian Outback. And I remember seeing a newspaper article about the final four of Borneo. And I would have
mm.
been 9 or so at the time. So I have these like flashes of Survivor because obviously everyone was talking about it then, but I didn't actually start watching for a while.
Were there any other shows in the early days that kind of stuck out to you? Did you become a Big Brother fan or anything like that?
I did, yeah. I became a Big Brother fan, and I was super into it because I watched eventually Dr. Will season. He's obviously an influence on me, like many other. And Dan Giesling eventually watched his season and caught up through season 6, season 7, some of the greatest seasons of television ever. And then my friend Joseph Rodriguez from Big Brother 26, we have been like pen pals for 12 years or so, ever since we met in an org, and he got me into the challenge. And I watched Amazing Race on and off, and then it was like off to the races in the 2000s when The Circle came out, and I decided to spend less time in public and more time watching reality TV as the years of my life have gone by.
That's so cool. I knew you were friends with Joseph, but I didn't know that predated his time on Big Brother, which is really
Yeah.
cool. I've also been in the online reality game world for a long time, so it is interesting. Like now, all of those people I was playing with are on reality TV shows, and that's like a really cool thing to
Hey,
see
and
everybody.
you're next, baby. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: like again, these early influences, you see Survivor, Big Brother. Like what is the thing that hits you first? Do you want to play games like this or make games like this? Like what, like originally or even now, it does like did it change? Are you a creator or a player first?
I'm a dual threat quarterback, baby. I want to do both. I never thought I would get a chance to play a game. Of course, the odds are just so low. Luckily, they invented a show that cast 456 players. Otherwise, probably would still be dreaming. I would love to play first. I mean, how could you not? But I also want to make a career out of producing these games. I am, on my way. I'm very fortunate to have gotten a start. I just served as a game designer and co-story producer on Poker Wars, Kevin Martin's new show. Got to work with a great team, including Adam Klein, making this Poker Meets Survivor show up in Calgary. Stay tuned for episodes coming out at some point eventually. It was also live streamed though, if you're curious. And I've been working on These Games 3, and hopefully I can just keep going and working and eventually start producing my own shows, because to me it's so fun to blend, like I mentioned before, the gameplay and the storytelling, like the two go hand in hand. And if we ever get to talking about Survivor and my many issues with it right now, as much as I love the show too, I would say it's too much on the game side, which is crazy because I'm a gamer. I'm a huge gamer, strategy nerd. All I cared about when I first started watching Survivor was like the strategic game. But now that's all that is. So I feel like you need layers of human storytelling, character development, character growth, and some kind of continuity. And then you layer the cool, hopefully crazy, awesome, impressive, smart, dumb game moves on top of that. And for some reason, that's a cocktail that can make my brain tick for years and years and years.
That's cool. And I have a lot of questions about Poker Wars and Beast Games. But I want to know, like, what is the end game, right? Like, especially coming up, because when I was picking out what I wanted to do when I grow up, game design was not like, I didn't know people did that, right?
No.
I wish I had known people did that. What was like the end goal for you then and now, I guess? Like, is it making your own shows? Do you have like shows ready to like just pitch to throw out and go?
I have an idea that I just started working on before I started on working on Beast Games, which kind of took my attention fully. And then since then, it's been a whirlwind for me. But I'm very excited to come back to it when I get the chance. It's who knows where it'll go? Very likely nowhere. But if not that, then I'll keep working on other ideas. That's a long-term goal. In the meantime, I want to get more experience and just like sign up for more projects. Live reality games, fantastic, way for me to build experience. Even I don't know how much it counts for anything, but being able to go out there and film, lead production teams in a couple instances, lead video teams, I should say, and see things from behind the camera for 5 days in the woods is like incredible experience. So very grateful to the world of LRGs, how I found them, and the skills that I've slowly, I think, been building by trial by error. And yeah, not many people I don't think would get a master's in game design to work in reality television. It's kind of an insane pipe dream that I still can't believe is actually leading to actual jobs. It's early days, but yeah, what was the question?
I forgot to.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. Poker Wars has the feeling of an LRG. I watched some of it. It was really good. I really enjoyed the time. But like you watch it the same way, because I just came off production of Surviving Reelfoot, and it's a similar amount of days, and it's similar like live stream structure. Like it's an LRG, I think, Poker Wars in a really cool way. And I think like that type of viewing experience is like also kind of very new age, and like I thought it was really cool the way they did it.
Oh, thanks for checking it out. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. I understand streams of like 7 hours long per day. Not everyone's cup of tea. No worries. Edited episodes coming out soon. But it was an awesome concept, and I just can't say enough good things about the team, and of course, in particular, Kevin Martin, because you described that as a bit like an LRG. I think it's kind of similar in that he had this idea, he had this vision. We're going to do 6 players. They're going to play poker, but like the games are going to be different. We're going to throw new stuff at them. It's going to be a mixture of social, strategic skills, definitely not just poker skills. And we didn't cast the best poker players in the world. We cast good poker players who are entertaining as hell. And I say they did that. And it's like a hybrid. This is like a new world we're living in, O'Rear, where if you're familiar with the hottest movies right now, Obsession and The Backrooms, they're created by people who started just putting stuff out on YouTube, and look at them now. They got these huge movies, and they're so successful. And what Kevin did was he put his own skin in the game. He invested his own money making this happen. And if it doesn't get picked up, the edited episodes, then they're going on YouTube, and we'll make them as great as we can, and then see where it goes from there. And I think very well within the realm possibility that the reception, if people are into it enough, could turn into a show. So I think that's the avenue for hopefully me in the future, maybe you too, if this is something you want to do, is like just start making things, put them on YouTube, and build them up as good as you can.
Yeah, I totally relate to that, and I think there's a lot of money to be made on YouTube. I know, like a lot of people, like I think the big thing now, like especially like casting people, they'll be like for a main network, and it's like that isn't even really like YouTube is a main network, like you could it depends on a lot, but you can do a lot you go a long way with YouTube for sure.
It's like proof of value. Just you put it on YouTube, you prove that like, oh, you can actually do this to a reasonable degree with the budget you have. And people are into it. They're loving it. They're fans. Like that's what you're basically doing. Because otherwise, you're just pitching a concept sight unseen, especially as like someone who doesn't have any direct experience. But if you actually make something, I think your odds go up. So the question is like, there's a lot of people making LRGs out there. How do you stand out, right? So that's another question.
Yeah. So how do you get involved with Poker Wars? Like at what stage? Also, I'm curious. Like, did you have a relationship with Kevin Martin, who I'm a big fan of, by the way? I think he's really awesome. It was really cool that you got to work with him as well. So how did that come about? Where did that tell me about that.
You ever hear the saying, "The squeaky wheel gets the grease"?
Okay, yeah.
I reached out. I reached out. That was it. I saw Adam's post on Instagram, and I was, fortunate, lucky timing. I just met Adam and had a really good time at the event in Florida, a reality event. And so I had like a bit of a new connection, but that's it. And I said, hey, Adam, this looks amazing. I love poker. I blah, blah, blah. Did this game design. I was on a show. I think I got the player experience. If you need anyone to talk to about game design, I'm there. And we eventually got to talking. He put me in touch with Kevin. We just had like one Zoom call after another until eventually Kevin invited me to come out. So that was the plan. I was like, I'm happy to talk to you guys for free. This will be super fun for me. And this is my career interest, but I deliberately did not want to be selling myself or anything. I was just like, hey, I love this stuff. Let's talk about it if you think I can help. And that's where it went.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm assuming he hands you the format, right? You look it over. And how much, like, is it a mess? Do you have to clean it up a lot? Do you immediately
No.
notice things? Okay, all right. Yeah.
No, not at all. It was a great original format. The format is all Kevin's, I would say, with like input from, well, I shouldn't say that. When I arrived, because it was pretty late in the process, the format was already fairly in place with some changes. There was always going to be this like sit and go with some twist to it that's not normal poker, and then an online portion, and then a heads up elimination. Very similar to the Genius overall. What I did is come in and pitch a bunch of ideas. Most of them were like too complicated, too crazy for his poker first audience, as I kind of learned. And I would, like Adam would too, and other people on the team, just offer suggestions. I would try to break the games, think, okay, if I was a player, how would I play this? Is this going to be fun, or is this going to lead to actually boring gameplay? You want to avoid feelings of a player getting like completely picked on, which I don't know if we were 100% successful in that, but I think it might have could have been worse. And all these like things that that I'm thinking through as I'm like trying to play test the games and refine them and make them like unbreakable. Hopefully, not going to lead to terrible, unfun, unfair, or boring television.
That's cool. I want to ask about, I want to kind of go back to Squid Games a little bit, and like, what was the thing about Squid Games that spoke to you that made you want to play that game specifically? 'Cause I imagine there's some, like, you grow up with shows like Survivor, Big Brother. It's like, okay, well, why Squid Games? And I guess it's a two-part question. I also want to know, how would you fix Squid Games, right? Like, is there something the game is missing, or is there something that they're doing wrong actively that maybe what would have deterred you?
Okay, let me think. Definitely not going to remember all these. You're going to have to bear with me. But I first wanted to play Squid Game. I'll tackle that first because it is a reality competition show with some semblance of strategic gameplay that's filmed, and that was it. So but I will say it was certainly not my top choice. I would have preferred to play Survivor. Okay, sorry, Studio Lamberts. I would rather been like a 1 in 18 chance of playing a game that's out there for like about 26 days than go live in a dorm where I could lose and coin flip in 2 seconds and go home. But having said that, Squid Game actually did appeal to me a ton because it also was kind of freeing. I thought going in, if I get cast on Squid Game, I'm not going to win this. There's no shot in hell. So I can just like do whatever I want and really go in guns blazing and try to just make the most of the experience. And I'm happy. I think I lived up to that, and that I was grateful for every goddamn second I was in there. I was just soaking it up. I was like a little kid, I was like, "Ooh, look at that! Look at this! Look at the foam set. That looks so good. This is before CGI, guys. This is crazy." Like, oh my god, the interview room. I actually, when they gave me a printed out letter afterwards, after I got eliminated, saying like, "Good news, we would like to interview you and do a processing room interview with you the next day," and that was so fulfilling for me. I had it framed and it lives in my my studio where I make games.
That's
so
cool. Yeah. I wanted to ask, like, at what point do you figure out in Squid? Because there's got to be a moment where you're like, okay, maybe I could be a character on this show. Was it while filming that you figured that, or was it like I don't know? Is that like, when did you realize your story was bigger than the average? Was it then? I guess.
Probably about the time I gave a speech about a fig, maybe.
Okay.
I think that's, to me, sealed something. I was like, if they don't put this on the show, like, what the hell? Like, this was great. I think I nailed this as best I could for the most part. There's some mistakes that weren't shown, luckily for me. But for the most part, I was like, all right, this is great. But still, it's Squid Game, so I never once thought that I was going to be a huge part of the show. To me, like the realm of possibilities, like I was even open to the fact that maybe I'm not going to be on it. You really never know. I didn't know I was going to get a processing room interview. I thought what I did was really cool, but I also was acutely aware that like they didn't ask me any questions about Mingle. Like I if I didn't speak up and say things, they would never have asked me a single thing about these rounds. So like I know I'm not going to be that important. I think I'm going to have my moments, and then we can get into it if you want. But like the big reason behind what I did in Marbles was because I thought, again, I'm going to blow stuff up. And I think they make their story backwards from big moments. So if I can have like these 2 interesting moments, at least a lot more interesting than any other Marbles game, then I'll probably have a better chance of like them putting me on the show. But besides that, I was like, I think it's a minor character at best, unfortunately for your boy.
See, and this is why I wanted to talk to you, because I feel like that is like, you want the callback moment, right? I feel like you want the cohesive storyline. The way you were able to find that, I think there's something to be said there. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's so many. Talk about regrets. If anyone wants to give advice for me, let me know about if you're going on Squid Game season 4 or whatever, or some other big show. So many things I wish I did differently. As much as I feel like I did send it in some ways, like with all the lying and did a lot of other fun stuff that wasn't shown. But like really in the dorms, I wasn't that exciting. I didn't volunteer for anything. I felt like I would make my mark through other ways, but like I don't know. I kind of wish I had played even looser, even crazier in there. You know, the nerves that kind of got to me a little bit. It was like, all right, I got a real shot at this. Like I'm not gonna go do some stupid ass chore and have someone be like, oops, oh, you got the bad chore. Oh, one of you's going home right now. Like, for what? A chance to be on TV for like 5 more seconds. But gameplay wise, game design wise, season 2 much improved over season 1, because if you recall, season 1, so many more random eliminations. Season 2, you couldn't really randomly get eliminated out of the blue nearly as much. So, but that was my attitude going in, was that there were going to be like this minefield of random ass eliminations to avoid because of how they did season 1. So I think people going into season 3, you should look at season 2 and be like, okay, they made this a much safer game for people to put themselves out there.
So I agree with that statement at some points, but there's also the one thing, and I've talked about this in every Squid Games podcast I've done. I'm sure people are tired of hearing about it, but my least favorite thing in all of the Squid Games fandom was the first game that you guys played, the counting game. I thought that this, again, from a game design standpoint,
major exceptions apply.
Yeah. But from a game design perspective, it felt lazy to me. It felt uninteresting.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Nobody had any agency. Like, so. What do you think of it? Do you agree? Would you have fixed it? Is there something else we could have done here? Like,
oh yeah, of course. So this is just like the nature, I think, in part of having 456 players. It's insane. So from their point of view, they have a massive player issue. They have a massive crew size. They're trying to get the numbers down as fast as humanly possible. I can only assume. I don't know any of these things for a fact. I'm just inferring like anyone else would. How they went about it, though, horrific. I think it's terrible. There's one thing that pisses off reality TV show fans. This is something the creators of Beast Games learned after season 1, to their credit. It's lack of agency. You already said it. You know, and in my study I did for my master's program, this was the number one trait, number one factor tied to game mechanics that was correlated with audience enjoyment. The more fair, the more agency the players have, the more the audience is likely to receive a game mechanic or a twist positively. This had virtually none. And what's worse is that it's bad for storytelling, I think. Outside of the singer, you don't learn anything about anyone. Like, what's the point? It's just like an exercise. And the twin, I guess. But even then, like, do we ever learn anything about the twins? That was interesting. I don't know. So, yeah, I would certainly fix it. I would certainly change it. I don't have an answer for you off the top of my head, but it sucked, right? Watching it?
Yeah.
Those poor O's. I still feel bad for them.
Yeah, for sure. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Season 1, at least, for all the issues they had with the red light, green light, you feel like it, I don't know if this is true, but you feel like a player earned it if they won or lost, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm curious to see what they do with this upcoming season. Yeah, it'll be fun. Let me ask you this: are there we'll get back to more creator-based questions, but as a player again, number one, would you do Squid Games All Stars? And number two, is there any other show?
What else do I have going on?
Okay, yeah, of course, man.
Obviously, yeah. I have nothing better
some
to
people
do.
are like, some people like, they did the one time, and now you're in the production side, and maybe you want to live there a little bit. But it sounds like you're in. Suit up.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay. My understanding is that yes, working in production certainly can make it harder to get cast, but not impossible. It probably depends on the production. And if you're like associated with that direct universe, like if I worked for CBS, I would never go on a CBS show, for instance. If I'm working on other shows, is that a deterrent? I don't know. But either way, it's more fun to play for sure. As much fun as I have making games, more fun to play. So yeah, I would definitely do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So
very quickly.
Yeah.
But man, imagine how freeing it would be. I'd be like, okay, now I don't even have to pretend to be nice. I don't have to pretend to care about anyone. I don't have to pretend to be honest. It's just really just like how long can I last before someone guns me down? That'd be a treat for me.
Yeah, it would be cool. Like in Beast Games season 2, they brought back like the league of like returnees. I thought that they like all like the all-star people from the previous season. I thought that was cool. I don't know. It seems like these shows borrow a lot from each other too. Do you see that being behind the scenes now? Do you see that being the case? Like, oh, this worked really well on this show. Well, let's try it here.
I mean, we were certainly talking about things like that in Poker Wars and in my time, on Beast Game. How could you not, right? I think anything that's, if you really want to excel in this field, like you'd be crazy not to study as many of the other games as you can and figure out what's working, what's not working, and why. So absolutely. But like then you don't want to directly copy other games either. Sometimes it's a little obvious. So I will say one thing I borrowed, for instance, is the Geniuses format. That is one small part I can take credit for, which is the Token of Life. So if you're unfamiliar, the Genius is a elimination game where they start with 13 players. There's a main match and a death match. And if you win the main match, not only are you safe, but you get to award immunity to one other player. And that creates so much intriguing gameplay. You can have a secret 2-person alliance, but you can't have a secret 3-person alliance and all be safe. And therein lies the rub, right? I have to choose now who to save. And the person you save, they're happy. People you don't save, not so happy. It leads to incredible amounts of like depth of gameplay, and that is something that I thought could work well for Poker Wars, and I think it did. In the first episode, we see someone have to give safety to someone else, and then it kind of shows their cards a little bit. So that's cool. Always borrowing, always building on others, on the work of others.
I haven't seen the Genius. My friend has been badgering me to watch it for years now. But what I've always said is I need to watch it on my deathbed because it's like the last great reality show that I haven't seen. So it's like, when I watch that, I feel like I'm done, right? But no, I got to get on the Genius.
Just as long as you don't die first. Imagine if you died before watching it. What a terrible life that would be.
That would suck.
It's so good. It's so good. I don't want to be a dead horse, but if you're into it enough to watch the subtitles, if you love like good storytelling, gameplay, the editing is unbelievable. Yeah, you got to check it out.
Do you feel like you have a game design style? Like, do you have like tropes that you lean on specifically when you're looking at the stuff, or things that you prefer that you specifically like? I mean, it sounds like, for instance, Squid Games, Beast Games, they liked the randomness aspect. I don't know who it was. Somebody in there was like, "That's my thing. Let's insert randomness." What's your thing, Eric?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So the concept of randomness isn't a bad thing necessarily. I think too much of it is. There's a concept called pink noise that's used in game design a lot, and it refers to essentially giving players some knowledge of the future, some knowledge of like how things might go, but not too much. So, for instance, if you have an outcome completely dictated by rolling a die, and if you get a 6, you win. Any other outcome, you get nothing. Complete randomness. However, what if you roll a die and you have to get 3 outcomes that are good, but each of those outcomes is like roll a 4, 5, or 6, 50-50 each time. Then you can kind of see yourself like approaching, the end result, right? So you get 1, then okay, now you're 2 steps away. You get 2, now it's a 50-50 every time. You have a little bit more information, a little bit more control over the situation. That's in game design. Take that to reality TV. You want a good example is like the tribe swap. When it was first done in Africa in Survivor, players had no idea, of course, but there's no escaping that. Now, after enough seasons, players know, forgetting the new era, of course, as we all like to do, players in the 30s will be like, okay, there's probably going to be a tribe swap at some point. We probably will do it randomly. So we like know some things, but we don't know exactly when it's going to occur. That to me is a great balance to strive for, because you want players to know the game they're playing. If they don't know anything, if it's complete randomness, complete chaos, Survivor, new era, then you can't be smart. You can't do cool things, Like players need to know the game they're playing in order to shine properly. So that's one tangent. Meaningful choices. That's another one. I could go on. I'll turn it back to you, though. Is there anything you feel like you wish you saw reality shows doing more?
I'll be honest. If I had to pick like a genre of reality TV show, I've said this before. I'm not just kissing your butt. I love Beast Games, right? I love like the fast-paced social, like for instance, the cubes. This is a very simple thing. They have to get one person to agree to lock themselves in the cube, and then the other people walk out, right? Super simple, but it's like it creates this social pressure cooker that I really appreciate. And I think that's the kind of thing I really like, is like very social based, simple games. And that would be my style, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great game design. It's memorable. It's visually compelling. It's simple. You know, the more simple to a degree, the better, right? If you get too complicated, you're going to lose so many people. So the cube's a great one. And don't worry, you're definitely not kissing my ass, because I've only ever worked on season 3, which isn't out. So
yeah,
nothing to do with that one. Yeah, I think that's a good philosophy. There's so many things you could think. I mean, I'm just getting started, so who knows? I'll probably come back in a few years and be like, what was I thinking? All these ideas of mine. Could be, I have a whole list of Survivor things I would change. I told you about, you know, just say the word. If you want to lose people listening, if you want to lose listeners fast, just like say, Eric, go start talking about Survivor, and
let's actually. I do have a question for you about that, but we're gonna save it, like you said, towards the end when people can tune out.
Good strategy. You're a good strategist. I can already tell.
I want to talk about Beast Games a little bit more, and I guess my first question is: have you talked to Mr. Beast, like, or is there like, you know, like, are you friends with Mr. Beast yet? And when are you gonna be able to be?
Yeah, we're best friends now. No, yeah. I will. You know, that's probably a question I can answer. Anything directly related to my work, obviously covered by an NDA, so can't talk about too many details. But the day before Poker Wars came out, I did get reached out to. I don't even know, like, I shouldn't even say this yet because it's not like official. I haven't signed anything, but I think I'm going to work as a writer for Mr. Beast for his main YouTube channel. So I have talked very briefly, but mostly been working with other people on his team who've been great to work with.
Well, cool. Yeah, that's really exciting.
He's a busy guy, I think. So people tell me.
Yeah, I'm a bit like, again, this is maybe my biggest flaw. I'm a Mr. Beast fan. Okay, I love Mr. Beast. I think he makes good games, and yeah, excited to see what you could do on season 3 as well. So
I appreciate it, man. I look, whatever input I had, minimal compared to the rest of the team. So if it goes great, you know, that'd be awesome. Yeah. But I won't deserve much credit for that. Hopefully I helped in some way, but I agree though. I've been actually watching Mr. Beast videos for a long time, and I love that he's brought competition and reality to the YouTube space. It's compelling, it's addictive, and I'm very excited to see where hopefully we can go and take it in a new direction.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
We hated the first game, Squid Game, the Challenge 2. What was your, besides that, favorite and least favorite game? Or I'll just say most memorable game off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head, my favorite game, I'll say Catch. I really love Catch. I think that it felt fresh to me, like this mix of like athletics but also social. I thought it was really cool. I hadn't seen anything really like it before, and again, that's just the kind of thing that I'm looking, I guess what I'm looking for on, like, what is the thing we haven't seen yet on competition reality, and that was it for me. So
I think it's a great answer. I'm biased, but I think Catch is brilliant. It is brilliant. You know, it is. They make this concept so simple. It's literally Catch. It's like the simplest game you can imagine. Easy enough to understand. If you catch it, you're in. If you don't, you're out. Or if your partner drops it, you're out, right? But it's a simple concept with so much emergence, because there's these lines and you have to choose who to throw to. And you might have this whole plan with your line. I mean, but so many players played it, I think, terribly. And, you know, we saw the whole yellow line, just like they all threw to each other. Like, you didn't have to do that. You know, like, did anyone tell you don't have to throw to your old line the whole way through? There's some merit in, like, if you're a good thrower, and a lot of people were terrible throwers. So, like, it's very important to have a good thrower throwing to you. So, like, there's some reasons there. But yeah, otherwise, it was guaranteed to engineer conflict, memorable moments. We saw, I think, 3 great moments come out of that one game alone. So hats off to the producers for that one. I thought that was fantastic too.
Yeah, I was also going to say Mingle as a second, but that just felt like, because the Catch was like the fresher, newer thing. Right. I also really do like Mingle, and it sounds like you got to kind of like really run the ship there. Is that how it felt in the moment? Because again, I think you came in with like this social strategy mindset. You knew to kind of like make alliances and talk to people next to you. Like, did you feel like you were running that thing?
Yeah, for sure. No, Mingle was great, and I'm done like you know, playing coy or trying to be nicer. I'm just going to give you my honest thoughts, which is, most people had no idea how to play Mingle at all. Yeah. It was incredible. Like, it was a huge advantage coming in as someone who's obsessed over reality TV, literally studied these games, and there are a lot of ways in which other people played Squid Game better than me, no doubt about it. Like, I'm sure socially, but Mingle was not one of them, because you had people, not naming names, but who thought that, maybe my alliance should be on the other side of the field. So like, because what if we have like not enough doors? Idiots over here. Like, obviously you want to be next to the people you're working with. Okay. That, yeah, right. Like, it's not rocket science. So being able to do things like that, to come in like with a plan for all the numbers, to know that you had to hit the ground running and wheel and deal and like cover every number possible, to know like which numbers they're not going to call because they're divisible by the amount of players remaining. So you have to keep a running tally of the number of players remaining at all times in your head. You have to know exactly how many get eliminated each time and keep thinking about these things. Most people, needless to say, are not doing any of that, and at least not until like round 3 or round 4. So yeah, it felt great. Mingle was awesome. I loved it. Favorite game. It's really fun to watch people lose.
Yeah. It looked like you had fun with it for sure. I want to ask.
Can I tell a story about Mingle real quick?
Sure. Yeah, please.
I'll make it quick. But my favorite moment was when I think the second round, maybe the third, when we're getting ready for all the numbers, and we have a group of 12. We just survived the first round or 2, I think, and everyone's talking about, okay, what do they call this? What do they call that? For some reason, the accepted idea in my alliance that I found myself in was, if they call 9, remember there's 12 of us, we'll form 2 groups of 6 and find 3 people each. Do you spot any problems with that off the top of your head by any chance?
The math.
Yeah, I think there's actually not enough people going around to make that work. I think that's not going to work out for one of those groups. So in the game, I'm like, okay, great, this sucks. Not only that, but my at the time ride or die, of course, Melissa and her solid alliance, they were all going to be 6, and then it was like me and other people I don't even really know that well. Like, if we said we're an alliance, like whatever. So sure enough, they call 9, and like I take the people that I actually cared about the most in the game, or that I thought would be best for the game, and I'm like, we're out of here, and just bolted to Melissa's room. And, oh, it was so great. I was like, you guys really thought we were going to stick together? Like, why?
Yeah.
Have you never watched this show before? I don't know. It's beyond me, man.
That's so cool. It's so cool that you got to play that game. So
is that one you want to play?
Yeah, I think that's. I'd like to think that I would be in that position of somebody that could be like really socially aware and quick about the numbers. So like, yeah, I totally like. I would love to do that.
Well, you probably do better than me, because I did not have a lot of friends going into that game. That is not my strong point in Squid Game. Didn't help that all of my pregame like hotel friends all died instantly, either, I should say. But yeah, Mingle. Here's my tip: if you don't have a lot of friends, find people who do have a lot of friends and work really hard at making friends with them. But then beyond that, like, you be the numbers guy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Every group needs one.
Can I ask? This might be a sensitive subject. Are we? How are we with Melissa? Are we
not
on
good
terms?
Not good. Okay. Not good.
I know
it's pretty bad.
I'm friends with Melissa, and I have no idea what that's like. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for having you on or what, but we'll I'll work on the other side too.
Yeah, I think she never got over my baby lie. She never really fully, wanted to be friends after that. So like, there's a time when we were talking a bit going into the show being released, and then we, it just never got not frosty. And then we went on a podcast together. It didn't go great. I foolish me. The thing that most people don't understand is that she's the one who betrayed me. Not the other way around. And what I mean by that is, before the game, I knew she was going to be there and vice versa, of course. Found out by accident. And obviously we, talked, and she said she was going to be entertaining on the show. She said she was going to play for fun, not to give herself the best win equity necessarily. And we were going to really go in there and mix it up. Delivered on none of that. So every time I try to have fun or to do something good for TV and expect any kind of support, I am left, disappointed. So not enough people are talking about how I am the actual victim here. I wanted to put that
No,
out there in the world.
I totally see your side of it, Eric, for sure. Like,
You don't have to agree with me. Don't ruin your friendship over me. Okay.
no, I think
Listen.
There's
Be
valid
careful.
cases to be
Tread
made on
carefully.
both.
Okay. Be very. Choose your words carefully. She
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
she probably won't be listening, but
Yeah,
choose your words
no.
carefully anyway.
Okay, so let's move on. A couple questions here to close out some like my creator based questions. Number one, pitch decks. Do you have pitch decks? Have you made a pitch deck? And what is a pitch deck?
Very informally, I made them like unprompted for my work on Beast Games, when I would just come up with ideas. Again, sometimes solicited, sometimes not, and I would make slides to pitch them as quickly as I could, pretty fast pace. Beyond that, no, I haven't actually got to the point where I needed to pitch an original concept. So hopefully that's something I tackle soon. It's an interesting question, though. Like, yeah. What prompted that? Just a general industry question?
No, there is a reason. There's an NBC like submission thing going on right now where you could submit pitch decks and ideas for unscripted TV shows. And I'm working on my own.
Right. Nice.
What I'm realizing, I don't even know if I'm going to finish it, because what I've realized, it's really hard. I mean, it's like writing a small novel, and there's way more to consider. And I think this is my problem as a game designer. Like, my capacity for this stuff is so small. Like, sometimes I feel like I need an entire team to think about a game, right? Like, it can get like really jumbled in my mind. Do you have a process for like games and like,
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm figuring it out too, man. I'm like a fresh faced little baby in this world. So no, that's really cool though. I'd love to hear about that. If you want to talk about that sometime when you're able to, don't want to have you reveal anything if it's confidential.
Well, here's the thing. I'll reveal it because first of all, are you familiar with like the mini orgs, right? Like, I know there's online reality games, but like the mini, like Sequester, Spotlight, Reality Miniverse.
I'm familiar for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Spotlight looks really cool. I'm familiar with Sequester.
Yeah, I've created a lot of games for these type of formats, and like a lot of different ones, right? One of the ones that I'm pitching, what I think might be my favorite one, is it's basically a cross between Love Island and Traders, and it's called Lover or Liar, and it's essentially the same setup as Love Island. The only difference is some of the cast are liars, right? They might already be in relationships, they might be asexual, they might just not have an interest in a relationship, or they're just super money motivated.
That sounds good, man. That sounds like a good premise to me. I'm intrigued.
Okay,
Lovers are liars.
The pitch deck. Yeah, right? Lovers are liars. Yeah,
that's a good title too, I think. Yeah, the
acronym is LOL.
Legs.
Okay.
You're gonna get an acronym? That's big. That can only help you. Wow, you've thought this all through. Yeah, I'm very intrigued. Yeah, if you want to go on, tell me a little bit about the format. Great. Otherwise, let's chat about it off.
I mean, that's kind of the problem. Is like that's like as far as I get, and the more I expand, and the more confident. It's just there's a lot to consider when it comes to this stuff. So it's hard.
Yeah, there's so many ripple effects, and you're doing so much. Like, it's not just designing the game. It's like you're scripting an unscripted show, not in the sense of like putting words in people's mouths before you even cast them, but you're trying to think through like how this might play out, best case scenario, worst case scenario, trying to protect yourself against all the worst case scenarios in the never ending quest to produce an awesome, great show with great content. Yeah, it's super hard. If you ever want to talk about it, talk it through, let me know. All I can say directly, because Beast Games was more of like a one-to-one relationship between me and one person on the like full-time team. But Poker Wars, it was such an incredibly productive collaborative effort where like when we got on location, there's like not a single idea that's any like one specific person's, for the most part, with some exceptions. Adam had a fantastic, concept that ended up being the Final Four Prisoner's Dilemma, for instance. But like so many ideas that like someone would throw out something, next person would refine it, enhance it, add to it, so on and so forth, go around the circle a few times. That's the way to do it in my book. Like you're never going to produce your best work by yourself compared to working with other people who can help think of things that you can't.
Yeah, definitely. I think you definitely need a team.
For sure. Sum is greater than the parts.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Let's move on to some
like somewhere in there.
Let's move on to some like user submitted questions. I fielded the Reality Miniverse audience to see if anybody had questions for you. And I know we want to talk about Survivor a little bit. I literally, one of my questions is almost like
We don't have to.
suspiciously could have been written by you because I feel like it's going to prompt the things you want to talk about.
I would do that if I cared enough. I would have absolutely planted the question. I've done it before.
Yeah, this comes from a mutual friend of ours, also nominee of Best LRG Villain of the Year last year.
Wow,
Santi.
what an honor!
He said one thing you would change about Survivor that would severely impact the game. And it sounds like there are many things that you would change.
Final two by far is like number one with a bullet. I think anyone who loves fire making is just misguided. That's my take. You know, I could go on. I have like a million reasons why. First of all, Final Four fire making decision. When has that ever been interesting? Since like Chris and maybe one other time. It is.
And we did not vote for that shit.
It's a no-brainer. Every single time you put the person who's best at making fire against the person who's the biggest threat. What are we doing? You're not learning anything new about the characters. You're not making anyone make any tough decisions. No one is hard feelings. They all understand, because obviously what else would you do in that situation? Like, no one feels betrayed ever. And compare that to every season with the final two, the final four decisions, like 9 times out of 10, bangers. They're interesting in some way, shape, or form. Right?
Yeah.
It kills me. It kills me. And then like
and there's still the option for fire too, right? Like that's already integrated.
And then it's actually cool and meaningful. God, I lose my mind thinking about it. And then of course on top of that, like you're incentivizing people. There are seasons where 4 people are all correctly, and that's the key word. They're correctly going to the final 4 together. That should never be the case. Because if you're an average fire maker, your odds are never worse than 50-50. Yeah. You know, if you expect to win a fire making competition 50% of the time, if we just simplify it a little bit, you have a chance to win immunity, a chance to win fire. Your odds are never worse than 50-50 going in there. A lot of people are just going to take the easy road and walk to the end holding hands and skipping and singing. It's horrible for the game. Like, you need people to think, is this person going to take me to the end? And that's why Final 2 to me is infinitely better than Final 3. Is you have to ask yourself, like, is this person going to take me not to like the final 3, to the final 2? Am I the 2 within the 3, within the 5? Way more interesting, way more dynamic game. So yeah, that's number 1 with a bullet. I'll stop there. I could go on. Let me throw it back to you. Yeah, thoughts, and then what's yours? What's your top thing?
Yeah, I know. I totally agree. First of all, I hate fire making. Always have. Think it's stupid. I think the final 3, you can argue that in some positions to maybe switch it up every once in a while. But like,
I'm okay with that.
I feel like
uncertainty.
The game feels unfinished when you finish at final 3. Like, the reason there's the jury in the final 2 is because they can't vote each other out. Their votes negate, right? That's the reason they invented that process. You know, that still happens at 3. You can still vote somebody out. So it'll always feel like a little incomplete to me without a final 2. So I totally agree.
And isn't it more meaningful, like, when you make the final 2 than when you make the final 3? Like, we never think about it actively. It's probably in our subconscious, but like, it's so much more impressive to make that final leap into the final 2. And then it's a head-to-head. As humans, like, we are, storytelling wise, 1v1, so much of a better story than 1v1v this also person over here too, who, by the way, there's always a third place who gets no votes. Always. Like, 1 tops, right? It's a non-factor. So like, and all the reasons for Final 4, I'd love to hear it. If you disagree, say it in the comments. Tell me why we should have Final 4 fire making, and I will probably not hear anything I haven't heard before and hate, but go for it. Take a shot at it. You know, fire making is not that interesting, not more compelling than human dynamics at their best. Again, I urge you to go back and look at the first 12 seasons, plus the other ones where there's a final 2. Steven versus JT, you know, Micronesia. Yeah, do I want Sarita to win too? Yes. Is it a better game with the final 2? And was Parvati legend versus Amanda legend also incredible? Yes. Tony versus Wu, incredible. Yeah. They almost never miss. It's crazy. All right. Anyway, what else you got?
Another thing I would change that I hate, modern Survivor trope. I hate the early merge. 13, way too many. And then what they do recently, 15, 16. It's like, what? Insane. I don't know. Like, I feel like I actually, and this goes, I did a podcast many years ago. I'll challenge anyone to find it, where my Survivor hot take was the pre-merge is better than post-merge. I genuinely think the pre-merge is just more exciting. I think the team dynamics, the smaller tribes, it's easier to follow those like stories, and like that we're slowly cutting away what the pre-merge was.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I miss a Final 10 merge.
And it's like not meaningful to make the merge. It's like, wait, we made the merge? We just started. We just landed here like 5 days ago. 18 players, 5 are pre-merge, 13 make the merge. Who cares? And then earn the merge. Worst idea since, well, no, Hourglass is the worst idea. Top 5 worst idea, which is saying a lot in the new era. What the hell are we doing? Why are we convoluting a merge? And like, why are you saying they're merged, but they're not? It's so stupid, man. It's worse storytelling. What to what end? What do we get out of it? That's so great.
I don't know that it makes great podcasting, but I had a feeling we were going to be on the same wavelength about a lot of this stuff. I don't think any of our Survivor opinions are different.
Yeah, we might. Well, look, it's early yet. We might find. Think of some controversial opinions, and maybe we'll get there. But look, it doesn't. I'm gonna have fun either way, dunking on Survivor, and hopefully the comments will at least disagree.
There you go.
Love a good debate. I'm open to hearing new perspectives always. You know, if there's something I'm missing, tell me.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to and I'll keep thinking about Survivor stuff, but I'm gonna ask.
Wait, can I pitch one more thing?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
And then I'll stop there.
No,
you know what I think they should have done Survivor 50 specifically?
Okay.
So many things. Besides bringing back retro challenges, obviously. Rebrand Journeys as Exiles. Remember the one where Suri went and kind of got exiled, and then I think there was one after. It's 50. It's a nod to all the previous seasons. You know, Journeys suck, but when do they do anything fun? Never. But if you give tribes a choice and make players choose to exile someone, creates way more dynamics that are actually memorable. And then if you go on a journey with like 2 or 3 people, no one remembers that. It's way too much to remember. But one person getting exiled, sometimes over and over, one of their better dynamics. But you could update it for the modern era and make it fit the season 50. I have more details, but I'm going to stop. I can already tell this is boring as hell to most people.
No. That totally works for me. This leads me to another Survivor question. We're entering the Survivor Open era, which apparently means any twists are possible. What is that like? Hearing that, I know that's kind of like eye-rolly and silly because that's always been a thing. But hearing that, what's the thing that you're like, well, I hope they bring this into the Open era? What are we bringing back?
Oh, it's a good question. First of all, the Open era, like some things I'm interested in, right? The Jurassic Park seeming sub theme. Even though it's weird that they like seemingly don't like themes anymore, and they'll always just do a weird half-baked theme, like there's an octopus for the logo and like other various nautical things, but are never explained, or like a sword and shield and a chessboard for some reason. You know, like why don't we just have actual themes? I digress again. What should they bring back for twist? I mean, besides Exile Island, which I think is an interesting one and way more compelling than Journeys at the very least. I haven't thought about this. Different challenges, obviously, number one, like 1v1 challenges that test like raw social ability, raw physical ability, mix of these things, way more memorable, right? The problem with challenges in the modern era, in the new era, is that you never learn anything about anyone, with very few exceptions. Like Jason was really good at puzzles. Rome was really bad at puzzles. That's about it. That's all I can remember. Jonathan, it takes like a superhuman freak of nature, Jonathan, to actually physically stand out. Besides him, who does? Nobody. But if you have different challenges, and one-to-ones are a fantastic way to do this, you can actually do 2 things at once. You can have a challenge and determine outcomes in the game and teach viewers about the players. That's what's missing from modern Survivor challenges. You can tune them out and not miss anything. Like they don't teach you anything new about the players. So that's where I'd start. What about you? Okay. Let's go around the horn again. What would you want?
Yeah, well, because there was one thing that stuck in my mind. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because we haven't had it in a while, so there's like a longing for this concept. But I want Survivor 56 specifically to be fans versus favorites, okay? Because 16 was fans versus favorites, 26 was fans versus favorites, and then 36 could have been they stopped doing it. 46 they don't do themes. So can we just start back, please? Give us our 6th season of the decade, or not the decade, half decade. And let us do fans versus favorites again.
You know what's sad? You know what's really sad? I love that. First of all, why not? Let's do it. You know what I think? And you know, this is not an original idea, but if you do fans versus favorites, have okay. I hate three tribes, but in another world where we didn't just do a million three tribe seasons, one tribe of favorites, two tribes of fans. It is a known huge advantage for the favorites in these seasons. They dominate time and time. Well, it's been done twice, but they have crushed 2 out of 2 times. Let's mix it up a little bit. You know, let's even the playing field. Why not? And then I got another idea too. Themes.
Okay.
52 specifically, since you said specifically 56. 52 specifically, I think should be tarot card theme season or card theme season. There's 52 cards in a deck, right? And you can have a lot of fun with that. Give players different specific like types of cards, you know, archetypes, advantages. It writes itself. Don't ask me for
Eric,
details.
you make it look easy. Let's get this guy on Survivor. Get us Jeff. We got a game designer.
Hear me out. Survivor 52.
Whoa, hold on.
Can't beat that.
That's
18 nerds play Survivor. Okay, got it.
Okay, let's get back to our listener questions. This is another mutual friend of ours, Rachel McKitta. She wanted to know specifically about your video production background and how she can break into the field.
Oh, cool. Rachel, I know, has a video background of her own, and she's edited Outlast, so she's already done more LRG editing than I have. Thanks for the question, Rachel. How to break in? Well, for me, the answer was simple. It was to do anything besides video editing. I have learned, you know, I was a video producer for a few years, video editor at a tech company. I don't even know how I did that in retrospect, because I have tried to edit LRGs, and my worst trait is like getting bogged down in the details, being a perfectionist, and not getting them out as fast as people who make LRGs obviously want them to be out to keep up with like the fast pace, the yearly cycle. You know, and in my defense, the way I would like to edit, the way, which is, you know, a little more intensive than, you know, using like just like throwing it together using iMovie or whatever, it can take a long time, and it's not a one-person job. There's a reason why most shows, real shows, have like teams of 30 editors or whatever. So don't do that. If you want to break in, I honestly have no idea. My path is so bizarre and unique, and I don't even know if I've fully broken in yet. I've just gotten to have some great experiences, but I think just like doing what you're doing specifically and like throwing yourself into games and like filming and producing and learning and editing and learning will only help. Make good connections, reach out to people if you're not weird about it. Like I somehow managed to slide into Kevin Martin's DMs and get it work on a show. That's probably super lucky. But also like find production assistant jobs. Probably that's what I was going to do anyway, and probably still might. Just like attach yourself to any type of reality show, any type of reality competition show that's appealing in any form whatsoever, and work really hard. I have no idea how else to do it. I wish I had better answers, but I'm still figuring it out as we go. But I hope that helps, and reach out whenever.
No, that was a lot of good advice. And I'll also second just asking. Put yourself out there, because that's a big. My email is full of so many embarrassing, like, "Hey, can I work for you? Hey, can you come on my podcast?" You know, like all like just shooting my shot always. So yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, reach out to people. It helps. So that's how people get on podcasts together, at least. So.
Right, through opportunities like this. I mean, hopefully we're going to see more LRG to reality show production pipelines. Right, forget playing. I think that and I'll keep preaching the good word, but hopefully more shows recognize what passionate fans they have, who often are looking for a job and have qualifications in this LRG world. So. I hope it just gets easier and easier to say like, hey, this might sound crazy, but my resume includes making a fan-made Survivor game, and that being a cool selling point.
Yeah. No, that's super cool, and not a lot of people do that. Something to like stick out on the resume. So, yeah. I've got one more listener question here, and it's from our friend Colin. He asked, considering that you probably rival me in terms of reality TV competition consumption over the years, what do you think has been the catalyst for the reality TV boom we've seen in the last few years, and do you think it's here to stay?
Yeah, I've thought about this in the hours since I saw that comment on Instagram. I don't know. I haven't even thought about this. Like, It's interesting, right? I mean, maybe the death of the third space, right? I don't think I'm saying that quite right, but you know what I mean? There used to be like a third space, home, work, and then like drinks after work or something, right? I don't know, like a venue where people would congregate. Maybe we're all so isolated these days and more on the internet than ever that there's really nothing else to do but look at games. Maybe it's just a natural evolution. Maybe reality TV shows, reality competitions, they're very cheap, and we all know that. And the advent of Netflix and Hulu and other platforms like that is like led to eventually a boom. And that's like if you're relying on traditional channels, there's just not enough channels making that type of content. But now there's a lot more options who are willing to throw bucks at competitions. And I don't know. I have no idea. Like I'm rambling, trying to come up with something. I wish I had a better answer, but those are my best guesses.
You nailed it.
What do you think? You think anything you'd add or change?
I think again, maybe post-pandemic, the lack of social interaction, number one, gives us that drive for like real people and real things. And then what was the other thing? You said something else that resonated. It went out my head when I was talking about
Netflix, Hulu, these streaming
service. I think you know, television in general has grown, right? We have so many more networks. We have, I mean, I can pick any other genre, adult animation, for instance. There used to be 3 of those shows. Now there's 15 across 5 different streaming services. So, and I think the same could be said about reality TV and original movies and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I think just television in general is booming.
And one last idea that I just thought of, you know, reality competition shows have been around long enough where I feel like they went from the hottest new thing to like the least cool thing you could watch. To now, though, it's been enough time and people are just, I think society generally speaking progresses and gets more progressive. And like now with reality TV shows, they're just an established thing. It's not cool or uncool to watch. It's just a thing. And like, it's more acceptable to watch them and talk about them. You know, I don't know if that's a big factor, but I feel like more and more people are watching TV without shame. For whatever reason, they might feel shame.
I also wonder if there's like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I maybe like, I don't even know how to phrase it. Let me think. Give me a second. Let me compose.
Okay. Got it. Netflix putting Survivor on probably helps too.
Okay, there you go.
At least for Survivor.
I just completely lost my train of thought. We should move on.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Okay, Eric, thank you so much for doing this. This is so much fun. I've got to the end of my questions here. I want to ask you though, where can people find you online and keep in touch with you?
I am not very active on the internet, but I'm at Eric Eldredge. ELDR, so at ERICELDR on Instagram. And I will post things very rarely and not use them much. So probably not worth a follow.
Come on.
That's it. But if anyone happens to be listening and you have any questions for me, for game design, reality TV specifically, or whatever, feel free to reach out. I encourage it. I would love to talk anytime about this thing. It's still surreal that I might just maybe be able to carve out a career and get paid to think about games for reality TV. Hopefully. So yeah, reach out anytime. But otherwise, man, thanks for having me. It's been so fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, Eric, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. And guys, that's all I got for you guys. Just a reminder, once again, if you want to hit subscribe, it goes a long way, especially on YouTube. And I think the ratings on Apple do a lot too. So if you want to like just hop on over to that app, we would really appreciate it. But that's all we got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Do it. What's your excuse? Do it now. Do it.
Help us. All right. Jesus.